Hi, you're watching FemVids Ultimo. I'm Alicia Evans, Program Associate Research.
And I'm Hannah Hicks, Program Associate Broadcast. We'll be taking a look at what's been happening throughout our networks, national and regional level, in January.
Firstly, the end of January marked the conclusion of FemLink Pacific's divisional consultations in 3 places. We started off in Suva, before going to Mombasa and ending in Nandi. And if you're interested to know what the women had to say, here's a little breakdown.
In the Central Division, priorities included infrastructure, including drainage, health, including mental health, gender equality, including the empowerment of women and young women, transport, violence against women of all diversities, access to safe, clean drinking water, crime, child protection, education, and employment.
And so in the Northern Division, the priorities included infrastructure, including electricity, roads and water, health services, transportation services, environmental concerns including deforestation, salination of water sources and arable land, as well as rising sea levels and coastal erosion. Other issues included participation in decision-making, including for young women, safety, income generation, the rising cost of living, unemployment, school dropouts, and market conditions.
And in the Western Division, priorities included poor infrastructure, including quality of roads, access to water, drainage, electricity and transportation services, economic security, including employment and access to markets, income generation opportunities, and social welfare, gender equality, including addressing discrimination and violence against women, education, including tertiary and vocational institutions, health, including quality of food and access to medicines, and health centers, and access to land, including ability to start and cultivate backyard gardens.
Because the FemLink Pacific Executive Producer Director and the advocacy team were in the field in the West, the EPD missed out on the opportunity to be in the last rounds of consultations regarding the new national security policy.
However, we welcomed the ability to input remotely with recommendations specifically calling for a gender-inclusive human security and conflict prevention approach. Yes, gender-inclusive. Women are in fact relevant to peace and security. Who knew? It's not like it's been 15 years since UNSCR 1325 was adopted.
So lastly, in national news, school's back in. But after the Christmas break, it was fraught with stresses over external exam result confusion. Women throughout our networks were a little bit worried about making ends meet, about finding money for the books, for bags, for school shoes and school lunches. But as usual, women continued on.
In other parts of the region, following Vanuatu's snap election, not a single seat was won by a female candidate. But not all is at loss for women in politics in the Pacific, with the Marshall Islands up north electing Hilda Heine as its first female president. An educator and politician, formerly Minister for Education, the wider Pacific's feminists were overjoyed at the news and happy to celebrate her success.
And then we had tropical cyclone Ula making its way through Fiji, as well as brushing up against some other Pacific Island countries. Thankfully, it wasn't the most damaging cyclone, and it brought rain to the much-needed browning plains of Fiji that continue to face the dry conditions and water shortages.
And before we round off, a quick look at who made the news in January, with women featuring in only 29% of news stories monitored. That was 246 stories out of 853 where women was mentioned or quoted, with only 87 actually having a woman as a subject of a story. That's only 10% of stories actually about women.
So on that sad note, that's it for this edition of FemVids Ultimo. To find out more about any of these stories or everything else that comes through our networks, go to our Facebook page or check out our website.
Our YouTube channel as well as our Mixcloud account is host to a constant stream of content. So subscribe or follow us on Mixcloud. Not to mention our Twitter accounts, that's @FemLinkPacific and @FemLinkMAO.
So, thanks for joining us. I've been Alicia Evans, Program Associate Research.
And I've been Hannah Hicks, Program Associate Broadcast. See you next time.